Welcome back to another week at Julie's Wreath Boutique. This week, we're gonna make this beautiful swag. I love all things Santa, and I love the way that we do all the ribbons here. I'm gonna show you how to make a big bow, kind of a half bow, a smaller bow, but all of this came from the Wreath shop. So if you wanna get the supplies, all you have to do is look in the description and you can go shop at the Wreath shop. Now listen, one more thing. If you're a creative and you sell your products, you need to join Julie's Biz Boutique. What is Julie's Biz Boutique? Well, I'm so glad you asked. It's a monthly subscription group, and I teach you all things social media and how to run your business from a creative standpoint. I was there 10 years ago, and I haven't shared enough of it here on YouTube. So if you're looking for a new start to the new year with your creative business, make sure to check out Julie's Biz Boutique. It's down in the description box below. If you're not, that's okay. We can still have a lot of crafting fun. Remember, we have the group here on YouTube, and now we have a community group on YouTube where you can actually post the pictures of your projects here on YouTube. So check out our community here on YouTube. The other thing I wanted to tell you about is we have Facebook groups. If you love to craft, I have actually 2 groups on Facebook. Julie's Wreath Boutique, the official group, and the newer one is Craft, Create, Connect with Julie's Wreath Boutique. So make sure to join them. They're a free crafting group. I would love to see all your wonderful projects. And so let's get ready to make this beautiful swag. And keep in mind that even though this is Christmas, you could change everything up and do it for Easter, for Valentine's Day, for any holiday, and for any season. It's the same method, just change the materials. So shop the Wreath shop, get your supplies, and let's get to making this beautiful wreath. Can't wait.
So I grabbed this wide stripe deco poly 10-inch mesh from the Wreath shop. They have several colors, so if you want to do a different color, go right ahead. I'm actually using a glass cutting board that I grabbed from Hobby Lobby. It's not as wide as most things, so it's only about a 12-inch or 10-inch board. But as you can see here, I'm not being very precise. I am cutting these about 12 inches long, maybe 12 to 13. And I will end up using most of that roll. The second thing we got was this white teardrop type of evergreen swag that the Wreath shop sells. You could also pick out their green ones if you would rather not do white. I just was like, the white would really kind of pop with the other colors I used. And all we're going to do is we're going to roll in each side and then gather in the middle. It's pretty simple. We did this on another video recently, and we're doing the same method here, but I love how this turned out. We actually made a version of this in Julie's Crafting Boutique this summer, but with a watermelon sign and watermelon themed ribbon. But it was so cute, and I just thought, you know what, I need to share how they did this on YouTube as well. So you're going to just kind of work back and forth on each side. So if I do one on one side, I turn it around and we're going to do it on the other. It's just about building the volume that you want for this particular wreath. These are great wreaths to maybe put on the sides of your garage doors and just kind of a different look than maybe you're used to doing. So I would definitely try giving a teardrop swag a try this Christmas. But again, use this wreath recipe for any time of year. Like I said, we did this for summer, and we did like this watermelon theme wreath, and it just turned out beautifully. And you just can't go wrong. This mesh was a dream to work with. I used my wood burner to cut it, of course. And I just really like this versus the regular deco mesh. So we're going to just kind of quickly get through this because we're doing the same thing over and over. And there's honestly not a right and wrong way to do this. You're just going to want everything to look symmetrical and even. I added a few more at the end here to kind of give it a little bit more of that teardrop shape here, and we're going to add one to that last long kind of twig there. But this was a very easy wreath to make, and it was a very quick wreath to make. But one of the things that I really like is that the ribbon is the showstopper, but I found this sign at the Wreath shop. Again, it's giving kind of like a vintage Santa feel. And since it already had two holes in it, I have one of these hole punchers that I got over on Amazon that will punch through a metal sign for you. So it's a great product to have on hand. And I'll leave that down in the description box too. We're going to take three different wire stems, and I'm going to kind of try to do this at an angle, and we're going to add it to our wreath. I'm not going to use any glue on this, just simply I'm going to use the wires to attach it to the wreath itself. So once you get all of that attached, then we're going to go over and make some ribbons, and we're going to do this in a little different way than we might not have done before. So once you have everything secured, again, you're going to add this in whatever way you want. If you want it a little bit tilted, you can, or straight on. But I'm going to use my Pro Bow 4-in-1. Did you know you can get these here on YouTube? I'm going to leave you a link. It's going to pop up on the screen here. And if you don't have this tool, let me tell you, this is one of the best tools you can have. But make sure to hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're liking the video and hit that notification bell, because you know what? YouTube will let you know when we go live. So we're going to start with about an 8-inch tail, and then we're going to do about a 6-inch loop here. We're going to do another 6-inch loop. We're going to gather it, and then we're going to cut off a tail here, a really long tail of about 24 to 30 inches. And I end up trimming this a little bit, so maybe you could do closer to 24 inches. So you're going to have one short tail and one long tail. Then we're going to go with a white kind of shimmery type of ribbon that I got from the Wreath shop. This is 1.5 inches. And again, always use wired ribbon. You'll be so happy you did. But we're going to do about a 7.5-inch tail there. And then we're going to do about a 5-inch loop on both sides. And then you're going to cut this particular ribbon's tail the same length that you did the longer one behind it. Then we're going to take our last ribbon, and honestly, you could do 4 ribbons if you wanted to, but we're going to do a tail about 6 inches, and then you're going to do about a 4.5 to 4-inch loop. And again, only one loop on each side. This is pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but we're going to cut this about halfway. We're not going to use quite as long of a tail. Then I gathered it with a pipe cleaner that I had on hand. You can lay this down at the very beginning, but I just did it at the end here. Either way is good. You can't do this wrong. And you're going to gather it, and then we're going to put it on our wreath. Now, I made a place in the very top of our swag here and kind of did it at a little bit of an angle, but you're just going to take it down into that swag, and you're going to secure it on the back of the wreath. Once you have that all secured, we're going to flip it over, and then we are going to fluff our little ribbons up here, our little bow loops, okay? And we're also going to add some decor pieces to this. But what we're going to do is we're going to take those long pieces of ribbon, we're going to layer them, and then we're going to gather them and kind of use the actual evergreen stems to secure it. So we want kind of like a loop, and we're going to gather that and secure it with our white evergreen stems. And then this way we're kind of, creating, let's see, what do you call it? Dimension. So here is where I take the smaller ribbon, and we're just going to dovetail it. And then I'm going to take the last 2 pieces here, and we're going to do this loop again. And I just like how the little piece of ribbon is kind of tucking out, or peeking out is what I should say, at the top. And I'm going to show you how we're going to add a few little half bows to these tucks that we're making. But this is the first step, so let's get back out our bow maker and do the smaller bow. All right, so we're just going to leave this. I did cut this, like I said, I cut a little bit too much of the ribbon, so if you want to be save your ribbon, just don't cut it quite as long as I did. We're going to go back, and we're going to dovetail, and we're going to do another 8-inch tail. We're going to do the 6-inch loops on each side, and then you're going to cut the tail the same length as the other one. So we're not going to do one longer side. Then you're going to do the white, cut a tail, and about the same size, maybe a little bit smaller, and we're going to do this about 5 inches. Again, one loop for each side. Then you're going to take your last ribbon, dovetail it, make that tail just a little bit smaller, and then you're going to do about a 4-inch loop and then cut that. And then you're going to take this and we're going to put this on the other side of the wreath sign. So now that you see, we're kind of adding a little bit of symmetry to this. We want a little bit on one side and the other side to kind of make sure that everything kind of flows together. But we're going to add this to the wreath and then we'll fluff out our bows, but we're not done yet. We're going to do this is kind of a half loop bow. And all you're going to do is make a dovetail and then do one loop about 4.5 to 5 inches and then dovetail the other side. Again, you're going to do the same thing with the white. And as you can see here, I'm not being too particular because this is meant to just have some really good loops poking out. And you're going to do this several times because we're going to add, I think I made a total of 3 of these, and we're going to add them to this wreath. Okay, take your pipe cleaner and twist it around, and where we did the first tuck on this wreath with the longer ribbon, that adds a half of a bow. And then I wanted to kind of put one on the other side to kind of add a little bit of balance and symmetry to this wreath, and then one at the very end. But I love the look of this half bow. This is actually a tutorial that the Wreath Shop came out with, and if you haven't looked on their website or on YouTube, they're here as well. This is the stem I got. You can get these still at the Wreath Shop. I'll leave the links down below. And I like to kind of cut them apart so that we can put them in several places on this wreath. Now, you can, because they're on wired stems, you can kind of bend them around, but I felt like it had a nice whimsy. So you're just going to see where you want to add it. This is where I did add some hot glue. If you don't want to add the hot glue, just use the evergreen stems to twist it on, or use like a zip tie. But we're in Michigan and that's not a problem here. It doesn't get too warm in Michigan. But again, it's so easy. Just go and add the different kind of decor where you want. I did it a little bit at the top. We split the one and added at the top and at the bottom. And then we're going to take the last one and we're going to add it as well. Now listen, if you watch this whole video, which I so appreciate you to doing that, and you show up every week, make sure you leave a Santa emoji down in the comments. Let me know if you're going to give this a try. And have you shopped the Wreath Shop? You must give them a try. They are a great, phenomenal small business, and I have been working with them for years. Again, if you are somebody who's like, I really need to sell my crafts, but I don't know how to do it, or maybe you've been selling your crafts and you've just not been maybe able to kind of finish social media out, make sure to join Julie's Biz Boutique. That is available for you to join, and I want you there, and I think you would love the trainings and all the things we do. If you want, I'll leave a link to a previous training that we put here on YouTube, so that kind of gives you an idea of what you get when you join Julie's Biz Boutique. It's a monthly subscription group, and I would love to have you. And we've been doing this for several years now and helping entrepreneurs and creatives learn social media in such a way that it can really make a difference. I was talking to my group last night, and one of my ladies said, Julie, you did the Etsy reviews and you reviewed my Etsy shop, told me to make some changes. And I made those changes, went out of town for the weekend, and I came home to 45 orders. Thank you so much. And guys, that's what we do in Julie's Biz Boutique. If you're struggling on Etsy, you're struggling on social media, let me help you. I know how to do this, but that's enough business talk for now. But how do you like this swag? I think it's just coming together beautifully, and I love how it just kind of all flowed together. You're just going to go through and just kind of, make sure that all your loops and your ribbons are good and ready to go. But I think it turned out so good. Again, make sure you join us over on Facebook in our Facebook groups. Make sure to leave us a Santa emoji, and we'll see you next time in Julie's Wreath Boutique. See you later. Bye-bye.